Welcome to the dumbest smart guy podcast on the planet. This is the Central Unintelligence Podcast. Oh, snapperoonies. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Central Unintelligence Podcast. My name's Josh. I'm here today with good buddy Adam.
Yep.
And today we're going to talk about, New Jersey Devil? Oh no, it's the New Jersey drones now, all right? That is what's hot on the streets. And we're going to be talking about that nonsense and fuckery that's been going on. But first, before we get to that, if you would like to go follow us on social media, you can. At Game Rage Magazine on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Additionally, you can go to Twitter/X and follow us there at Game Rage Mag. If you like music, you can go follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram. Go check out the All Gas No Trash podcast and Flash News. Check out his new blog on Substack at substack.com/allgasnotrash. Just wrote a scathing article fresh off the presses. You guys will love it. Go check it out. All right. So, this New Jersey drone nonsense, for the people that don't know, over the last several weeks, there have been these sightings of these drones. Coming up, people have been calling 911, people have been filming them, the cops have been chasing them, the cops have been using their drones to go try and chase them, helicopters have been sent around and try to fucking track these things down, and no one seems to know what the fuck these things are or where they're coming from. They have been reported as being from multiple different sizes, some that are, kind of like maybe twice as big as like those DJI like Mavic drones, maybe like 2 times as big as that, all the way to ones that are like the size of a fucking Chevy Suburban, all right? Like a full-size SUV. Like that's how big some of these drones are. And they're able to hover, they're able to move around. What's very fucking strange about the whole situation is that they act like they have lights on them. Like they have like the green and red, like the warning lights and shit that like most aircraft are supposed to have. They've got these little weird spotlights and shit.
Yeah. So you know how like there's the actual biblical depiction of an angel?
Yeah.
There's one that has like fucking rings or some shit.
Yeah.
It's like they're gyroscopic.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. That's some strange shit. Okay. So,
I just want to say that I'm not implying that they're angels or anything like that. I'm just saying that's coincidental. But just the nature of them doing that is very strange.
It is very strange. And one of the things that is funny is the fact that most of these sightings and stuff, they've been happening in New Jersey. There have been some in the surrounding areas. Now it's starting to get reported like on the West Coast, out here in like Southern California. There's like some spots that have claimed to have seen them here. There's spots in like up in the Bay Area that have also started to like claim to see them. And so the governors and like the mayors of like those areas in New Jersey that were like have been affected by this, they had some like briefing that they had with like the Department of Homeland Security and like the FBI or whatever.
They want to collectively get their story straight.
Yeah,
they're
basically,
like,
yeah. They're like, all right, guys, so what are we gonna tell these assholes? So one of the things that they had said was like the one of the mayors, like he walked out of the briefing because he was so pissed off at the nonsense that they were saying, and basically they were just like, yeah, we don't really know what these are, and but it's cool. Like, we're all right. Like, there's no imminent public safety threat. And now, granted, that may be true because one of the possibilities that it could be is it's just us testing our own shit. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand is in this area there is a fairly large Air Force base in the area. Now, people are saying that these things are coming out of the ocean, right? That they're coming out of the water and then they're flying to land and doing whatever. Now, there were reports that they did admit the report of there was a Coast Guard ship that said that something came up out of the water. It was one of these kind of drone things and it was just following it, like it was ghosting it. And then they said more started popping up and like started fucking following it around. So that is a little weird. But if it is our shit that we're testing, obviously we're not going to admit to what it is. obviously we're going to be like, oh yeah, it's probably aliens, guys. Like, it's definitely not anything that the government's doing. Oh, no, this is aliens for sure.
Well, even if aliens were a threat, right? At any point they could destroy us because they're trans-dimensional or interdimensional beings that probably have weapons that could do damage that are not quantifiable by man. So it's like, who gives a shit? Like, if they're here or not?
Because we're all going to die anyway. So who gives a fuck? Like, it doesn't matter. We're fucked. We are cooked if we go up against aliens.
So why keep it a secret if they do in fact exist? What fucking difference does it make? Sure, it's going to throw people into frenzy to realize, oh shit, maybe my religion was fucking wrong. And, God doesn't actually exist. And this proves otherwise that, there's other human beings or other humanoids that exist. That's going to shake people to their fucking core.
With the exception of Catholics, because as we all know, the Pope did say that if aliens prove to be real, he would love to be the first one to bring Christ's word to them. All right. So and convert them into Catholics.
That was an appendium. It was added on to the new Catholic Bible.
Yeah. Oh, also aliens. Yeah. God made another planet and stuff. And he made some people that were kind of similar, but not really. And he had Jesus went there after he died. Yeah, that's where he went. For those 3 days, he went to the alien planet. That's where he went before he came back and rose again.
That's how I remember it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So basically, the government's not giving up any info. And one of the things that I will say that people kind of maybe don't quite get is it is very strange if it is us doing it, because when we do shit like that, when we do normally test shit, it's generally in areas where no one's gonna see it. It's not over like majorly populated areas.
So New Mexico,
New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona, like that's where like Area 51's in fucking Groom Lake, fucking Nevada or whatever. We got shit. New Mexico has shit like Arizona. All these. I'm sure Idaho and Montana have a bunch of shit that we test up there because it's like fuck, no one lives there. You can test all this shit and generally, hopefully, probably no one's gonna see it.
All right, but then how? Okay, so when it comes to like aircraft vehicles that are capable of traveling, some ridiculous amount of speed, right? They need a fucking large runway, and maybe that's why they're in Nevada, New Mexico, or fucking anywhere. So it's like, but at some point, if they're capable of accomplishing that speed or whatever, I mean, at some point they're gonna cross over into civilian, residential areas.
Yeah, but if you've got it flying high, like with the SR-71, like nobody knew that fucking thing existed because it would fly basically in space. So like, yeah, it takes off and it lands in fucking Area 51 and then it's gone. And then it's like, once it takes off, it's like, oh, it's already basically in space. So like, no one's gonna fucking see that.
Yeah.
These things aren't doing behavior that's like that though. These things are like, it's like they're patrolling. It's like they're searching for something. Which indicates that maybe we could be testing these new drones that are going to go around and maybe detect explosives or detect, fucking guns or I don't know, some shit we're going to use in the Ukraine or who the fuck knows.
I don't remember if I'm crazy, but there was one person that had like a laser pointer.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were intentionally doing Morse code. I think they were just kind of making blinking things.
Right, at the thing.
And it kind of was responding towards it. Oh, I remember exactly what it was. So this person was using either a flashlight or an actual like laser, and this thing was hovering over the ocean. So I don't remember if this one was with respect to New Jersey.
Yeah.
But the drone would go into the water and then come out and then go back and up. It would go like underwater, submerged for a few instances, and then come right back up. I don't know if that was like a direct response to like the laser, but it was fucking interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And one of the things that people have said that they've tried to do is they've been shooting lasers at these things because yes, it's illegal to shoot lasers at aircraft, right? But what's great about this whole situation is that none of these things are officially like flight planned or like supposed to exist, quote unquote, right? And that's one of the things when generally drone activity happens, like the government they have to let like airlines know. They put out these things saying, hey, we're gonna be doing this shit because we don't want to cause like an air, accident or whatever. So
wait, hold on. So because drones fly at I don't know what 1,000 feet, but would they ever actually run into drones other than like for takeoff or landings?
At flight levels, I don't think so for these drones, but like, yes, at takeoffs, landings, that like when planes are coming in or taking off, yeah, there could be incidents, which is why like drone pilots, if you have like a drone, like you have to have a license, you have to have an FAA certification now to fly drones.
Yeah.
And you got to file flight plans, you got to do all that bullshit, and you can go fly your drone and do whatever you got to do. Generally, when we do stuff like that, okay, yeah, you got to do that. And also, if these things are in mass, because it's not like just one of them at a time, there's like 20 or 30 or 40 of them coming around into these like places and doing this shit. So if we're doing it, we're possibly like doing this very shadily because like, hey, we might cause some kind of airline accident. Because if one of these things gets sucked into a 747 engine, well, guess what? That plane's going down, man. Like that shit's fucked. So there is that aspect of like, oh man, like if we are doing it, we are taking a heavy risk.
Well, which is the worst outcome though? Is it exposing new technology, or is it jeopardizing fucking civilian lives?
Well, that's the worst outcome, is jeopardizing the civilian lives. I'm sure the government doesn't give a shit about that. I'm sure that they're just like, okay, well, let's test these things if it's us doing it. There is the other theory that these are from a foreign entity, whether they be China, well, who the fuck knows where these things could be coming from. Who knows what their purpose could be. One of the things that was mentioned is the fact of, based on the sheer size of these things, that because these things are as big as like a fucking, a large SUV, that the payload is likely something that is pretty decent on these, indicating, okay, maybe one of these things could carry missiles or bombs or whatever, right? So if you've got, 40 or 50 of these things and they've got, a couple hundred or 1,000 pound worth of bombs on them, you send them, they come from a submarine, they come up out of the ocean, and then they drop bombs on civilian fucking towns. Hey man, that's a great way to cause chaos. That's a great weapon. Now, I'm hoping that we're the one developing that weapon and not the other way around. Not that the enemy's developing this weapon, because then that would not be good for us. These could just be test runs of that. Who the fuck knows what the thing is? One of the things that also they say is that the aircraft, when helicopters, like, they try to go up and like shine spotlights and shit on them, that they black out. Like, these things black out, and then like you can't see them. Like, it's not that they're invisible, but it's like, it's almost like they just disappear, and then they'll take the spotlights off, and then they'll like come back on, and then they'll go and do whatever. So it's like, I don't know if it's like there's this reflective coating they have on them or some shit that makes them like not invisible, but it makes them hard to see at night. Like a
cloaking mechanism?
Kind of, yeah, it could be something like that. So it could be us testing this shit and seeing, okay, what happens when an actual civilian population sees these, and there's a response by like police or whoever. What happens? What do they see? Can they find these? Can they see these things? And then if the answer is no, cool, now we can use them against our enemies, and they're not going to know who the fuck or what the fuck this is. Also, if we have it happen to us here first, be like, and then all of a sudden some shit goes sideways in China and blows up from one of these things, it's like, well, hey man, these motherfuckers were coming to our shit too. What do you want us to do about it? I mean, I don't know. They came and scoped us out, left us alone, and now they're fucking with you, even though it's us doing it the whole time. You know what I'm saying? What a great plausible deniability aspect you get when you do that to yourself, basically. So I don't know. This does sound like some shit that we are developing. Drones are the future, as I've been saying on this podcast for many months. Drones are essentially changing the face of warfare. And if this is some new drone shit that we're developing, or that someone else has already developed, that makes sense.
So what do you think is? You think that's the most logical conclusion? Is that these things are unidentified pieces of technology that the government is working on, or you think it's the supernatural, the alien aspect?
All right. Okay, here. There's two aspects to that. Okay, the first one is Occam's razor, right? The Occam's razor of what is the most likely outcome. Knowing what I know and how I know things operate, the most likely outcome is that it's the government. This is some sort of government program, and now they're just testing this shit because it's like, oh man, we made this cool ass shit. We need to field test it on ourselves to see what happens, because we don't know what happens. We can't just throw this to China and then see what happens, right? Because also we don't want them to know we have it. Because what if this shit's easily detectable? Well, we want to go back to the drawing board and make it undetectable. So now we can go, okay, cool, we can send it over there and have the least likely chance that China will capture this shit and then be able to reverse engineer it, right? That's probably, to me, the most likely scenario.
And the thing is so outlandish already to begin with, like the visual aspect of it. It's like, oh, nobody's gonna believe what anybody's story about what they think it is.
It's like that thing from fucking Futurama where they have the thing crash and it's like it's whatever, they were testing something and they grab the guy who's like, they're like, oh yeah, and we got Jimmy here, he's the local town crazy guy, like, we told him it was aliens and here's this blurry picture we gave him. Like,
well, it doesn't even have to be that. It's just 100,000 different opinions or locals,
right? Yeah,
that are going to argue for all, for till the end of time to say, well, this is it. We think it's this or that, in the same way that we're doing it.
Yeah,
it's going to be argued
forever.
Yeah, and
then never probably likely even getting an outcome or an answer to this. The second answer to this, the real me, all right, the crazy Josh, right?
the conspiracy
theory Josh thinks that this is the beginnings of the underwater quote unquote Atlantean society that's existed all along. And likely, I believe it could very well be the Nazis. Like that's very well what I could believe.
The Nazis?
Yeah, I do think, maybe this is going to go down the rabbit hole too much, but we talk about these UAPs and all this shit. I don't think it's ever been aliens. I think it's always been shit that's been here coming out of the ocean. And it's advanced technology. I think that the Nazis fucking were into some occult shit, and I think that occult shit led them to find some ancient history that we might have not known about or had been lost. And then, they go to Antarctica and they have these bases there, and all of a sudden, oh shit, we found all this shit. Hey, you know what, guys, we're gonna lose the war. Let's go ahead and we didn't tell Hitler everything, so let's just maybe he'll kill himself or they'll get him. But the rest of us, let's take our shit down here in our underground water bases, and we're gonna just keep developing technology for the next 80 years and be even light years ahead until eventually one day we're gonna fucking expose ourselves and bring the Fourth Reich back into
the First Order, the plot for episode 9.
Yes, that's basically what I think is happening. All right? Which, I mean, I don't know. That's just my conspiracy theory. I'm probably crazy, obviously. So that's not likely what's the outcome, though. It's likely what I said the first one was, which is the government making its own shit. So
or some foreign enemy that's doing reconnaissance.
Could be that too. That's the most likely scenario. Is it some government fucking about, whether it's our own or someone else's, right? That's at the bottom line. That's basically
they're trying to figure out how they make their pizza dough so flaky and bubbly
and soft at the same time. Like, how is it crispy but soft at the same time? I don't get this.
As we've heard numerous times, there's something in the water for New York pizza when it comes to dough. So
there's we need to test this water so we can make pizza just as good.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, that'll pretty much end this episode. You got anything else to add for this?
No.
All right. Well, anyways, go check us out on social media, Game Rage Magazine on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, Game Rage Mag on Twitter/X. If you like music, go check out the All Gas No Trash podcast, and you can follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram. And don't forget to go. Wait, can you subscribe to that Substack thing, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can. But for the sake of describing or doing the plug or whatever, just at All Gas No Trash for pretty much all the
Substack.com/All Gas No Trash, right? That's just the direct link.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, we'll confirm that. But anyways. All right, well, that'll be it. We'll catch you guys on the next one. That was the latest episode of the Central Unintelligence Podcast. Don't forget, subscribe and like on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. We're also on Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag. Also our website, www.GameRageMagazine.com.